KSI against Logan Paul, the rematch. The rematch. The first match, I made a match analysis about their first match. That can be found on my Story Spotlight YouTube channel if you want to look into that. There's a lot of information there. I explained basically their strengths and their weaknesses in that first match. Now we're going to have a closer look at how the second match went down. And you may remember there was a 2-point deduction. So we're going to talk about that 2-point deduction. Was it right? Was it wrong? And what did it mean? What happened because of the 2-point deduction? I'm a huge boxing fan. When I was younger, I boxed for about 10 years myself. So I think I have some experience to talk from here about that topic. I've seen all the great matches of Mike Tyson, Sugar Ray Leonard with my father. He was also a great boxing fan. We always stood up in the middle of the night to watch the boxing matches. Now, what was this match about? Two YouTubers, KSI and Logan Paul. If you don't know what it is about, I'm going to tell you. Two YouTubers, KSI and Logan Paul, they decided to do a boxing match. I think it was actually KSI who started this with a different opponent. I didn't watch that one. And then he fought against Logan Paul. And this, basically what we're talking about today, is the rematch. The first match was a draw, and I think rightfully so. The first match, basically, just to summarize quickly, KSI, wild punches, really wild punches. His guards not really in place, like here, where they should be, or in front. But really, when he attacked, very open, wild punches, that was a huge problem. But he was very fit. He was very fit in the first match. Really, really unbelievable fit. On the other hand, in the first match, Logan Paul, he was like technically good. He looked really good. He looked like a boxer. He moved like a boxer. And he had good guard, but he didn't have the stamina. He was out of air. After, I think, about round 3 or so, Logan Paul, he couldn't catch his breath anymore. And so the match really turned and ended up in a draw. There's a lot more match analysis on my Story Spotlight channel there. So you can go into that if you like. First one was an amateur match, and this match here, they said, is a pro match with pro rules. And that's a huge difference. A huge difference. Especially like when you think about holding one's head and punching while holding head, or punching when somebody's down. It's a huge difference in pro boxing. They let go a lot of things there and don't punish a lot of things. While in amateur boxing, that would be a disqualification. There's no doubt about that. If something holds the head of the opponent in amateur boxing and punches him in the face, that's usually a disqualification. In pro boxing, it's not so clear. They let a lot of things go and won't punish a lot of things. So they fought pro rules. It was a 6-round match, which is actually hard. I mean, I've been there. 3 rounds, 3 minutes rounds. With only 1 minute break, guys, this is hard. You can literally hear your heartbeat up here. It's really, really hard to go 3 minutes. And the reason why that is basically because there's a lot of excitement, you're nervous, you're not at 100%. You're usually not at 100%. You're always better in training than what you are in a real match because you're more nervous and you cannot deliver 100% usually when you're not used to all the stress, the audience, and all the things that's going on. Also, they're not wearing head guards. They're not wearing head guards because it's a pro match. And the thing about this is, I think it's actually better because the head guard is basically going to protect against cuts, like things where you're bleeding on the eyebrows or so. That's where the head guard is going to protect. Headbutts, it's going to protect against headbutts, but then also it's shifting in the face like this, and you have a limited view with a head guard. So it's more difficult, and also you get hit on the head guard. Imagine it's like this size here, like my headphones, and somebody punches on the head guard like this, it will shift the head guard in front of your eyes. And that's kind of really, really hard to cope with, actually. My personal opinion always was it's better without the head guard. For the boxer, for fighting, it's better. It may be worse in terms of protection, but for actual being good in the fight, I think it helps. Then also, they had 10 ounces gloves. Now, there's a big misconception or confusion about ounces gloves. 10 ounces gloves is not about size of the gloves. It's not that they're big or small. It's about the weight of the gloves. And the heavier, the slower you punch, or the bigger they are, of course. But basically, it's about the weight. So they can be different size with the same weight. And I tell you this, from personal experience, if you get hit with an 10-ounce glove, like on the chin, that's gonna shake. That's really gonna shake. And I was only 75 kilograms when I was fighting, which is not much. 75 kilograms. That was middleweight, I think, at the time. Those guys more than 80 kilograms. That's gonna hurt if you get hit with a 10-ounce glove. So that's basically the rules of the match. Now, for all the clips or pictures I'm going to show you, basically the links to the videos, again, are in the video description. So all the links, all the sources are in the video description. But I also want to show you very quickly the sources from which I'm going to show you some stuff here. This is a good source. The zone highlights, KSI against Logan Paul, the zone highlights. It's German, but I think there's also one in English. But the link for this one is in the video description. There you're going to see the highlights of the match. And then there's another source for what I'm going to tell you here. There's more sources. I just want to be fair and show you all the sources. So if you like or if you're interested, you can later on go there and check out the sources for your own if you like. Then I have this here. I don't feel I lost, says Logan Paul in the locker room interview. That was a very interesting interview with a BBC reporter right after the fight. So I'm gonna go into the details what was discussed in the video. Of course, I'm not showing the full video, but I'm gonna go into it what was discussed in this video. And then the third source I really recommend watching is this one here. The referee explaining what really happened in the match, why he deducted the 2 points, what his thought process was in that, and how he thought the match was going. So that's really explained in that video. So those 3 videos are basically the sources, and of course that I watched the full match. Those are the sources of what I'm gonna tell you here. The match started basically the same way the first match went. Like KSI trying with wild attacks to get at Logan, to hit him somehow. That's what he tried. Logan trying to box more technical, trying to outbox him, trying to move to the sides, and also getting hit when trying to move to the sides. And what you could tell is also that Logan, he did not really have a good recipe against the wild swings that KSI threw at him. He tried to avoid them, walking to the left and to the right. And that's probably not what he should have done. I'm going to go into that, what he should have done, in my opinion, a little bit later. But that's how it started. So basically wild attacks by KSI and Logan trying to box and trouble defending. Logan, he was a little bit slower than in the first match. You could really see that. And I always felt something's wrong with Logan. And we come to that later. When he was, like, he said after the match that he was ill. I can't believe that. So I'm also going to talk about what that actually means, fighting. When you have a fever, when you don't feel that well, you could see that. He was really moving slower than in the first match. Then in round 3, something happened. There was a knockdown in round 3. The first knockdown, basically, that was interesting. They were in the corner, and then KSI hit him. And KSI actually hit him right here behind the ear. KSI was punching, and Logan, he turned a little bit to the side, and he was hit right here behind the ear, and he went down to the knees, and then he also tried to grab KSI, but couldn't, and he was on his knees for a moment. That happened in round 3, and the question really was it a knockdown or not? Did it count or not? Now I tell you, in pro boxing, when you hit right here behind the ear because you're turning, that will usually count. That's just facts. I mean, face is here, that's where you got to punch, but if you turn and you're going to be hit right here, right behind the ear, nobody's not going to count that punch if it hits. If you hit on the back of the head, it's not going to count, but if you hit on the side, it's usually going to count as a good punch. But the ref, he didn't count it. The referee said it's not a knockdown. He didn't count it. And he also explained in one of the clips I showed you, he also explained why he didn't count it. He said KSI was attacking with wild punches, and Logan turned away. He hit him behind the ear. Logan tried to hold, and KSI pulled him down. That's what the referee says, what happened. I gave him that it's really, in the heat of the moment, it's really hard to tell what happened. It's always easier if you look at it afterwards. But I have to say, I disagree. I do disagree, and I will show you the clip. I think it was a good punch, and I think he was going down because of the punch, and I think that should have counted as a knockdown. So let's go into that scene here. I have that clip for you. It's a very short one, so pay attention right now. A very, very short clip. KSI punching him right there. It's actually almost on the ear, and then Logan going down. And I think this is from the punch. I mean, he may stumble also, but I think that's clearly from the punch. Look at this beautiful punch. Dang! On the head. And Logan loses his balance there. So, my opinion, this was a knockdown. You can disagree, of course. You can have a different opinion. I would have counted this as a knockdown. You can argue if it's right to hit him where he hit. I think he hit him on the ear, maybe a little bit behind the ear, but not on the back of the head. So in my opinion, that would be a knockdown. Anyways, the fight was basically, the first 3 rounds were won by KSI, in my opinion. As I said, Logan looked really tired at the start. He started slowly. And what also I found is that he mostly threw like single punches, like not combination like you do 1, 2, 3. None. Really none. He always threw like a single punch, walk away. Single punch, walk away. That's not good. If you have any idea of boxing, you know actually that usually the first punch is like a preparation punch, and the second or the third punch is the one that really has impact and really hits. And so it's not, I mean, it can be used to make your opponent tired, but just throwing single punches, especially when your opponent attacks you with wild punches, like KSI, with those wild throwing punches, and you just drop like a single punch, the second or third punch of KSI will be dangerous for you if you only throw one punch. Try to throw combinations, not only single punches. Round 4 on the way. Ark says, I agree it was a knockdown. I'm really happy you agree. Something special happened. KSI, as I said, always like, he was standing like this, and then when he attacks, he opens up. I mean, he's an amateur. He doesn't have huge boxing experience, so he will not remain closed. He opens up and throws those punches like this. Very open punches, and walking forward like this is very, 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 very dangerous. It's just very dangerous. Always jumps at the opponent like this. Very dangerous. And then what happened is, one really great punch by Logan Paul. I mean, Logan Paul basically just waiting there, and he throws that amazing punch here right under the chin of KSI. That was a knockout punch, but really give respect here to KSI. He was still standing. He was hit hard, but he was still standing. And then what happened is, Logan grabs him, actually with this hand, grabs him behind the neck and punches him, actually like this. He punched him again. He holds his neck and punches him again. Of course, an illegal blow. but tolerated at pro boxing in a lot of fights I've seen. That was really the knockout punch. KSI going down because of that second punch. And then while he's going down, Logan like freeing himself, punching one more, and that's the real problem here. When he's on the ground, Logan punched straight down and hit him again. It was just a tap. It really was just a tap. And in one of the interviews, the BBC expert really said it was just a tap, but it's an illegal tap. It was illegal. And that's really the problem here. It was an illegal punch. It was really an illegal punch, but it was a great punch. It was a great knockout punch. And after that punch, the referee stopped the fight. I will show you the punch so that you know what I'm talking about. It's really an amazing punch series here by Logan. And maybe the match would have ended if he didn't do that last illegal tap. Maybe the match would have ended right there. But then on the other hand, KSI is really capable of taking hard punches. He's proven that. So it's not sure it would be over. But after that punch, the referee stopped it. And he gave KSI a lot of time. A lot of time to rest. Because of the illegal punch. He gave him a lot of time to rest. That, of course, broke the rhythm. Maybe Logan could have knocked him out afterwards. Maybe not. I mean, that's just... You will never be able to tell. Maybe Logan would have continued slow and not knock him out. Maybe he would have boxed aggressive and would have been able to knock him out. We'll never know. But anyways, KSI, he had a long rest. And then the referee deducts 2 points. 2 points. 2 points. That's a lot. Honestly, I've never seen it happen in pro boxing. Never. 2 points at once. I've never seen that happen in pro boxing. And after the fight, the referee was interviewed. He explained it like this. He said... I cannot show you the clip, so that's why I'm telling you. He said, in boxing, there is no such punch. You cannot punch straight down. That doesn't exist in boxing. That's an illegal punch, even though it was a tap. That's why he gave JJ the time he needed. And then he did score the knockdown. He did score the knockdown for Logan. So that means it's a 10-8 round for Logan Paul. Maybe here a little bracket. Pro boxing, how they score is this. The winner gets 10 points, the loser gets 9 points, and if there's a knockdown, you get another point deducted. So it would be a 10-8. So if the referee says he counted the knockdown, it will be a 10-8. The referee felt like that would be unfair if it's a 10-2 because it wasn't a 10-8 because it's an illegal punch. And that's why he deducted the point for the illegal blow, which would make it a 9-8. And then also he deducted another point, and as he said, to level out the field. So that for the rest of the match, after the 5-minute break, they would both start at 8 points. That's what he did. That's how he explained it. We can argue if it's fair or not. I just said I've never seen it. Ark says in the chat he's seen it. It happened when Tyson bit Holyfield. Actually, I've watched that match, but I don't remember the 2 points. But, I mean, that's possible. I mean, that was a bite. I mean, that's horrible action to do. It's not like a tap. So it was definitely a hard, very tough verdict there. That's for sure. Very tough. But, yeah, it is as it is. The referee decides, and he explained it very well what his reasoning is. And that's why he got those 2 points deducted. It's also strange that there was no warning or anything. Usually in pro boxing, you would give a warning first and then deduct points. But they didn't do that. And it's only a 6-round match, so 2 points is really huge. I just want you to understand that. I'm not saying it's not fair or it's fair. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying it's huge. 2 points in a 6-round match, that's like taking 2 rounds. That's a lot. That's going to be a huge difference. And when we look at the results, we're actually going to see what happened because of that. Another interviewer also said it's just a tap on the head. But now finally, I think it's time to quickly show you guys the knockout so that you can build your own own view about what happened there. Let me show you the knockout. Knockdown, of course, not knockout. So here's what happened. It's a very short clip again. It's basically just showing you what I just explained what happened. So there you see the first punch. A huge punch to the chin. Crazy one. Then he grabs the neck and punches him again, and then he falls off his knees. And here's the tap. That very last punch, that was the tap. And that's what happened. That's really what happened in this match. So as I said, first he had that really huge punch below the chin, and that already got him weak knees, I guess. Then he grabs his neck and punches him again, and you can really see in that very moment how KSI, he drops. And that could have well been the knockout. Of course, also kind of an illegal knockout, but I think he would have let that slip. But then he punches another one while KSI falls. And when KSI is already on the ground, he throws that last punch. And that got him that 2-point deduction. So we'll never know if it was a knockdown or it would have been a knockout or not. But I think actually KSI, he can really eat some good punches. So I think KSI would have been able to continue. He got that really long rest. And we don't know if Logan really had the skills to finish him or not. After that punch, we'll never know. Definitely that tap on the head, it was a huge mistake. And Logan also said that in a video he made afterwards. He really regrets that he made that mistake. But come on, guys. This was only his second fight. And things like that can happen. So don't blame him for that. He lost the 2 points fair and square. And things like that happen. Of course, he's biting his ass for that. I mean, that was a stupid mistake. But things like that can happen when you're fresh, you know. And punches like that, actually, punches when somebody's already falling, happen a lot in pro boxing. I think like Mike Tyson, he did it all the time. All the time. He punched, and then while the other guy was falling, he usually punched 2 times more while he's falling. But he never punched when he was already on the floor. So it's really a difference here. The next thing I want to talk about is how to actually beat KSI. In my opinion, what he should have done. I told it before, like Logan, he was really trying to box KSI. KSI coming with those wild punches. Now imagine this. Here's KSI. He's coming with the wild punches. There's Logan. He's protecting. He's trying to block those wild punches. And then he moves to the side, like into the wild swings. And that really gave him a lot of trouble. So how to beat a puncher like KSI is actually walk right through him. Not always, but sometimes. So what you should do is really, when he comes at you like that, stay there and punch into him with your guards up, and you're gonna hit him really hard. And that's basically what happened in the scene I've just shown you. When you just stand there and block and really punch into him and try to walk through him. I think he should have done more of that. Instead of, he tried to avoid the fight, and I think that was technically not the perfect decision. Let's say it this way. At least sometimes he should walk into him and throw a heavy 3-punch combination, something like that. And I imagine that would throw a puncher like KSI off his feet. That's what he should do. But yeah, Logan, he always tried to escape and tried to walk to the side, which is technically good, but not successful. Sometimes you just gotta stand your ground and earn some respect. And that didn't happen. So we went to the scorecards. I was really into this. And then also I'm gonna give you the aftermath, what I think this really means in terms of comparing it to real boxing, comparing it. So we went to the scorecards. Here's the 2 fighters when we went to the scorecard. And now look at them. Look at them. Who looks like a winner? And who looks like he lost the match? Make up your mind. When I look at this picture, what I see is like KSI hoping he has won. Not really believing he has won, but hoping. And Logan, well, he looks kind of desperate, like, yeah, I should have won, but I'm not sure what's really gonna happen. I may also have lost. So none of them is really confident. And rightfully so, in my opinion. None of them really can be confident here after this match that he won or lost. Because what I did expect, of course, I scored for myself during the match. And what I expected here as a result is another draw. Or definitely a split decision. That's what I expected. And we went to the scorecards and we actually got a split decision. Now listen to what I'm going to tell you here. One referee scores it 56-55 for Logan. 56-55 for Logan. That's the first referee, scored it for Logan. The second referee scores it 57-54 for KSI, which is like 3 points difference. A good win for KSI from that judge. If the 2 points were not deducted, it was a 57-56, which is still a win for KSI, but very close. The third referee, and that's the deciding one here, scores it 56-55. 1 point difference for KSI. And that's huge. The 2 points deduction, if that didn't happen, or if it was only 1 point, if it's 1 point, it's another draw. But because it's 2 points, KSI wins. If it's 0 points deduction, Logan wins. Just again, because it was a lot of numbers there. Let me repeat this again. If 0 points were deducted from Logan, Logan wins by split decision. If only 1 point is deducted from Logan, it's another draw. And if 2 points are deducted, it's a win for KSI. So all options possible. It's really due to the 2 points. Fair or not, I'm not going to judge here. It's the referee to judge. But that really made the decision in a match that was basically a draw. The match was basically a draw. And the 2 points made the difference. And yeah, after the match, of course, Logan said he would fight it. He would appeal. Yeah, that's true actually, Ark. If the knockdown counted, that's another point. That's a point for KSI. Very close. A very close match. But you're right. The knockdown, if the knockdown in round 3 counted, that would be a point for KSI. Then the first judge would have scored it for KSI. And it would be a win for KSI. I think he won the round anyway. But he would have an additional point. Yeah, I think he would have an additional point. So... But he won the round anyway. I think actually KSI won the first 3 rounds and Logan won the last 3 rounds. That's what I think. Anyways, it's very, very close. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable close decision. Overall, you have to say Logan just started really too slow. He said he's been ill. I believe that. And I have experience with that. When you don't feel well, we're going into a match and you have a fever, you don't feel well. That's really different. That's really difficult. You don't hear well, you don't have the orientation as you would usually have. You feel slow. You feel slow if you're not that well. And it's really tough. Even the adrenaline, he said that in the interview, he thought, when he gets that adrenaline push, it would actually lift him up and he would be able to fight. But it's hard. And I actually believe him that he was ill and that made it harder for him. It's not something he said before. So I, in doubt, I believe him. But yeah, of course, he was starting slow. That's just what we've seen. We don't know the reasons behind it. He started too slow. I think KSI won the first 3 rounds and then Logan won the other 3 rounds. When you're sick, you have slow reflexes, you feel like you're in a vacuum, it's really more difficult to fight. But that's not it. It would still be a draw. I think they're really too close together. And that's really the interesting thing here. 2 boxers or amateurs, but they're at the same level, so they can really provide an interesting fight, even though you cannot compare it to actual boxers that have more experience. But because they're on the same level, they were really able to give us a good fight. Logan said he would appeal the result. The BBC commentator said him no chance, will not be successful. Then Logan said he wouldn't appeal it. Then he did appeal it, and then it was decided. He shared that in a video, Logan, afterwards, and the appeal was rejected, of course, and so the verdict stands. KSI is the winner, and he will not appeal it anymore. That's what Logan said, and I think that's how it will stand. That's how the record will remain and how it will stand. Usually appealing will not have a chance in this, and that's what happened here. My summary here, it was a fun match. I did enjoy it because they're on the same level. Technically, it was similar to the first match. Logan more technical, but more tired in this one. Less aggressive, of course, Logan. A lot of single punches. That's really a problem. KSI, again, KSI with a huge heart. He's such a warrior, such a great fighter. Really give him respect for this. He's throwing those wild punches, he's open, he's taking punches, but he's eating them like nothing. He's such a great warrior, he's got such a great heart. Unfortunately, Logan did not take advantage of the open guards there. So, I don't know, about against a real pro, again, or somebody with amateur experience, I think it would be hard for both of them. Will there be a rematch? Will there be a rematch? I feel like no. KSI says no. Logan says maybe. Shannon Briggs wants it. Shannon Briggs, after the match, he was on Instagram and said he wants a rematch. It wasn't fair. In the heat of the moment, I feel like there won't be a rematch. For boxing in general, what I think this means, it's huge promotion. It's not like excellent boxing, but it draws a huge audience, and actually some of that audience will be new boxing fans and revive the boxing sport a little bit, which is not bad. I think it's a good promotion for boxing. I know that a lot of people in the boxing sport think like, yeah, you can't take this serious and this is just nonsense. That's what they think. But I think actually it's really good promotion. They're bringing a new audience for everyone else, which is probably a good thing. And then also what my last word here on this is, guys, it really takes courage to step into the ring and fight. It really takes courage. I tell you, when you're there, training is okay. In training, you may be the best and have a really big mouth. But on the fight day, when you're there and it starts, actually, it's even worse before, like 1 hour before it starts, you're just waiting. Dang! You're getting nervous, you're sweating, your heart is beating like up here, and then that already takes a lot of energy from you. And then the moment you step into the ring, it's like really, really getting you. You may, when you're more experienced, you really like, when it starts, you go like, okay, now it starts, and then you're in the pattern. You're in the pattern, and it's gonna work. But if you're new, you're going to be so nervous stepping into there, and music will not save you or anything. It really takes courage to do it, in my opinion. So from my side here, huge respect for Logan and KSI for this fight. And they also pulled a huge audience because they are media guys, and that's certainly a good thing for the sport. That's the segment, Logan Paul against KSI. Put it in the chat what you think about it. Put it in the comments. If you have more questions or comments about this. Am I totally wrong? Do you disagree with what I said? Or do you agree with what I said? That's just my opinion and what I've seen in the match. Ark says, I feel like KSI won fair and square. That's okay. I think so. I mean, it's the decision. The decision by the referee. You always gonna have to accept the decision by the referee. From the fighting, my impression, it was a draw. They were so close. From the points, they were so close. The point deduction and the first knockdown in round 3, we can discuss that. In the end, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. KSI won fair and square, and he didn't foul. He didn't foul. So he won fair and square, and that'll be it. I agree with Ark. I totally agree. In the end, it's like in every sport. If the decision's there, that's a decision. There's no arguing anymore, and big respect to both of them for the great match they had.